Welcome to episode 2. We've made it to episode 2 of Southern Perspective with Lachlan McDonald, the mayor of South Glengarry. They've had their township meeting a few days ago on August 8th, and we're going to have some discussions about this as we usually do. Welcome, Lachlan.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Okay. I heard we had some good feedback on the first one.
Yes, yeah, there was a comment in the Lancaster group saying there's great perspective, great context to the meeting. So that's, I don't know exactly who it was from, but it was very positive, and most of the time my social interactions on Facebook tend to be neutral, so to have a positive one was wonderful, and it's because of Glengarry TV, so thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome. So we're going to talk about, I have some talking points now. We say elephant in the room, right? We prepare as we can, and we don't necessarily need to memorize, but this is it. So on the meeting itself, there was, could we talk about the surplus property that council declared the 20382 Church Street surplus to reduce costs and generate value from this underused property. So how does selling this property fit into the township's broader strategy for managing assets?
Okay, well, the staff report clearly said township's not interested in residential buildings, so we'd like to turn that one into a productive property again. A little history on it, that hasn't been lived in for 10 years. The owner abandoned it, and the unique thing there was it's glebe land, so it's owned by the church that's there, and it's not freehold, so you can own that property, but you only have 999 years. So the banks are a little reluctant to do it. So the church is getting out of being landlords.
Okay.
So in as much we rezoned it, now we will own it as a township, and we will sell it. So if anybody is interested in property speculation in South Lancaster, it's a beautiful place. It will be coming up as a for sale, probably through the township realtor in the near future. So that's going to be exciting, because that makes a derelict property. We've had complaints over the years on it. Mm-hmm. It will turn it back to a productive property. So hopefully somebody probably has to build a house again. The garage is in, they said, good condition, the house in not great condition.
Yeah. Who knows? Some people have some ideas to renovate, and they're good at it, but that's very interesting. So at the meeting, you talked about snow clearing contracts, that now the snow clearing contracts are going to be define events that of 2.5 centimeters and require salt application to remove, or a salt application for consistency. So can you tell us a little bit more about the snow clearing contracts?
Yes, so we had done some in-house. Martintown was one, and you'll note on that one that Martintown we did an award. We're in discussions with the bidder to make sure things line up, and we're hopeful that will come through.
So Martintown is outside of this?
It's inside the tender, but it wasn't awarded that night. So we divided. We have to bring it back, our grass clearing has always been by area. So we've decided to do that for our
for the snow as well. Okay.
And it makes it quite easy. We had 2 bidders, 3 if you consider the one from Martintown, but those are in discussions. So. A new ad is salt every time it's plowed, so that increased our cost. And if you read the staff report, unfortunately, the costs on 2 of the properties went up from 10 to 100%. So a lot of that salt, probably 2/3 of it, is salt application now. Okay. But now it's kind of streamlined, and it's consistent. Additionally, and I think that was the next talking point, is in Lancaster, we're going to run the contract to have by 9 a.m. have the sidewalks cleared in Lancaster.
So that's the town of Lancaster.
The town of Lancaster only, and just the main street, I believe, from the tracks south. And that's well received last year, because we have one trackless. It can only be in one community at a time, and we tended to focus near the school, so we'd probably go Williamstown, and sometimes we'd go Martintown, Lancaster, or Martintown, Williamstown, Lancaster. So Lancaster was done, but to the chagrin of the shop owners, and if we're being honest, Lancaster is our major commercial hub, really, for South Glengarry. Mm-hmm. So we put it in the contract that has to be cleared by 9 a.m. So it's an excellent level of service. So they'll get that one, and then when our trackless comes, can redo it. Again, focusing on where commercial core is for better sidewalk maintenance.
And that's the 2.5 centimeters. That's that's when you folks are clearing when you hit that mark.
Yes, yeah. So it's it will be just better service, because it was hard to have one vehicle be in every community at the same time. And that's what this kind of addresses, because we used to do a lot of it ourselves.
Oh, cool. So, the recycling depot reinstatement. So, recycling depots are being reinstated at the landfill sites
Yes.
for to improve convenience under producer responsibility rules, right? So, what's
Yes.
important about that?
Yeah. Well, so I don't remember exactly what we got into last time, but if you'll allow me a moment.
Absolutely. This is the forum for that. The
Yeah.
moments.
So residential will continue to be picked up from the producers and their organizations, but commercial hasn't been. So some commercial are left without. So we had removed our depot at the dumps, our waste facilities.
Okay.
Yeah, much like sewer has
The-
become
the-
wastewater and dumps
the
have become
politically correct term,
waste
right?
management
Yes.
facilities. So at our waste management facilities, there will be now a recycling depot, so you can go and drop off your recycling free of cost, which is wonderful. So if you're a commercial entity out there in South Glengarry that misses their roadside pickup, you can now bring it there if you're environmentally conscious. So it's nice for that.
So basically, the issue is, since the last time we've spoken, sort of has moved up a little bit more, has sort of been addressed a little bit more.
Yes, and I believe there's a $2,000 a year cost to it, but for the environment and the length of and for the businesses that no longer can put it on the roadside that want to be environmentally conscious, it's well worth it. Yep.
That's interesting.
Additionally, we also raised our bag tags too.
Yeah, so that was my follow up. Okay.
Yeah, which to $350. So those were the two changes from last year, was the reinstatement of the depot at our waste management facilities, and then two bag tags for surplus garbage above 2 is now gone from $3 to $350.
Still very reasonable.
Oh yes, yeah. I guess it's that trying to move that pay to pollute model, so it doesn't not borne upon all the taxpayers and it's not so expensive. I don't know. Some families might say that extra 50 cents or $350 is a lot, and I'm glad if they hear this, reach out and we can have that discussion at council.
Of course. So speed limits. You talked about speed limits being sort of consolidated and consistent throughout South Glengarry. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So you may or may not know our general manager of infrastructure services, who's also my sister, has accepted a job at Leeds and Grenville. So she's trying to tidy up things to leave it in better condition, and this is one of those things. We had kind of a disparate collection of bylaws for speed.
Okay.
So she's putting under one policy, so it's easy to review, and then we can change the addendum. That's the fun governance speak. But what it means to everybody is one location. So if you want to know the speeds, it's grouped by area. And I have my notes just so I don't forget something here. So please oblige me. So interesting, like Glen Walter Park, we have the conversation. It's at 40. There are no other 40 zones in South Glengarry.
So currently it's at 40.
Currently it's at 40, and so I believe it's signed at 40. We're considering at council perhaps bring it to 50. Oftentimes road signs, as wonderful as they are, people drive the feeling of the road, and I'm sure, like in South Glengarry, most of our hamlets are county roads, and county roads feel nice and wide, and people says 50, says 70 coming in, but oftentimes you'll see people going 80 until they feel, there's enough houses or it tightens up and the houses are closer to the road in the villages, our old villages. So we're thinking that changing it from 50 to 40, at least considering it. We haven't made that decision yet. Won't change too much.
So that's when you're coming into a hamlet, for example, from 50 to 40, or
Oh, sorry.
40 to 50.
My apologies. I kind of went on a digression there. So my digression was, as much as our signs in Glen Walter say 40, people are probably driving 50.
50, okay.
Or they drive the feeling of the road. An example of that was our roads are mostly 50 coming into our villages, but people do drive quite quickly through them. That's probably one of my top 4 comments I get back from citizens is how do we slow traffic coming into our villages? And it's very hard to govern human behavior, and there's not enough enforcement on the road to really take a big dent. You just hope that people are not distracted in their...
So by sort of unifying pretty much everything, people will understand that
Yes.
that everything is, the township has a policy of more or less having it at 50 or having it at 40 or...
Yes, 50 in hamlets and slow zones, 80 on our collectors, and then 60 in the intermediate or where exceptions are.
Okay.
And there were two interesting ones just that were signed differently than they were. So on Ray Road, which is Glen Walter on the east side, it's signed at 60, but there was no bylaw. So we caught that, and it's legally an 80 road. So that causes like traffic enforcement issues. And in Lancaster Street, just in Green Valley, south of us here, it's signed at 50, but it's legally 80. Now, if you know that street, it runs parallel to County Road 34, and it's the backside of the east portion of that hamlet, I'm sure people would not like 80 kilometers an hour. So those little, because it's never been done by bylaw, they've been corrected. They will be corrected. We've just done a first and second reading. So there's a little bit of fun and tidying up in there, and we appreciate the work to get that done so that the review will be nice and easy next time, and then periodically, maybe every 5 years, review how it goes.
Oh, that's interesting. So, fire services, some grants there's some provincial grants that'll allow for like new bunker
Yes.
gear, respiratory testing, lithium ion fire readiness, sort of stuff. So, how are these investments strengthen firefighter safety for the township?
Okay. Can I give some history again on this one?
Absolutely.
Perfect. This grant came in two portions. The first one focused on cancer prevention, and the second was a little bit more...
Cancer prevention?
Yeah, so like the... You'll see in there, there's fit testing, so it's for the gear, and it's to test the gear, because whenever you go with the carcinogens from a fire that you want to wash it, so wash your gear, and then you test it for certain things.
Okay.
We test our gear well within the mandated thing, but in this grant, we're looking to get some equipment so we can test it more frequently.
Okay.
And maybe share it with either municipalities along the 401, because that we share a commonality there, or maybe even North Glengarry. We're hoping that we can maybe not have 6 different townships buy 6 different pieces of equipment that are used, once every quarter.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll just plead to if any of the firefighters or fire chiefs in SDNG counties hear this, please coordinate with us. We're glad to get more equipment to keep you safe.
You heard it here, right?
To keep you safe at the best value. So
Yeah.
like that's that fit testing, bunker gear. There was some discussion there. We'll get some extra suits, because oftentimes like firefighters.
What's bunker gear?
Oh yeah, the whole kit and caboodle, save for the self-breathing contained breathing apparatus and the helmet. That's bunker gear. So it's what they wear to go into fires. And when they go into fires, oftentimes the residuals have carcinogen properties.
Okay.
So that's why it was focused on that, because
The testing of the residuals as well.
yes, and then testing also the breathing apparatuses too, to make sure everything's up and running. So we're looking to keep our firefighters safer. We are adding some levels of service, so there will be new things that we're bringing, like that lithium ion. As you know, there's more electric cars on the road.
Yeah.
And when they burn differently than, and perhaps almost seems like forever, because you can dunk them in water and pull them out. I'm told, I haven't seen it, but they burn differently than fossil fuels, those vehicles. So we're getting ready to meet that demand, because I don't think we're moving away from electric. There might be a pause,
Yeah.
but it seems to be a movement that will take place. So we're trying to keep our firefighters healthy and also safer in the events of those.
Okay. So, election planning.
Oh yes.
The election is coming up, 2026. We are in 2025, but we're also thinking 2026. Township is going to continue with telephone and internet voting, and there's going to be new tools to hopefully boost voter turnout. We always like for folks to participate in the political process if they later want to have anything to say about
Yes.
what it is. So is this to increase more participation in 2026, or what came up at the...
Yeah, this particular staff report, and we kind of talked off the staff report, so you kind of, I think you've picked up on that through your research. So the staff report was just to do telephone and phone, telephone and internet. We've been doing that since 2010, I believe, maybe 2006, because I recall when I was in school, I voted from Lennoxville. So I think the township has been doing it since 2006, phone and internet. We've seen probably 85% of people now vote by internet, 15% by phone.
Oh, wow.
Initially, it was not so much, but it's really moved to internet. When you talk about voter participation, that was something the clerk brought up. They did a great Drive to 50 campaign last year, and if I can throw my ego in there, 2018 there was no mayoral contest. In 2022 there was. So in my hopes, I was like, I'm bringing that number up just by not being me, but putting my name in. And unfortunately, we saw decreased participation in 2022. I think it was 40.
I feel sad about that.
I did feel sad, because I can't quote the exact numbers, but I think in 2010 it was close to 48% participation. Then we saw 45, then 42.7, and then 42.
Well, you have to admit that in 2022 we're still feeling COVID, and there's still a lot of sort of ambiguity about the world about, just stepping out.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
issues are issues, right?
It'd be nice. I hope 2026. Let's bring it back, because I think we're.
So, what was ballpark the voter turnout back then, or?
In 2022, it was 42%, or near 42%, and I think over the province for municipal elections, though, it was only 30 some, like low 30s. So we were in South Glengarry actually 10% higher.
Wow.
But still, you just wish for more, right? Like it's just such a low number, because you have to think that half the people that call you probably didn't vote.
Yeah, that was my point, is that if you want to, for lack of a better term, bitch about something, then you have to sort of participate in the process, and that's important. That's very, very important. That's why it's important to actually sort of we do on Glengarry TV. We also put links to the actual meetings per se, and to actually say, well, go and watch what folks are doing for you, right? What you've elected them to do, and if you like what they do or you don't like what they do, then you can reach out. But if you don't know, or you don't participate in the initial process of putting these people in place, then do you really have a right to contest what they're saying?
Yes,
if you wish.
I'll have to say that everybody's opinion in South Glengarry matters, and it is a feeling that you have in the back of your mind.
It is,
sometimes,
and it's not going to change. This is worldwide. We always want it. We're always aiming higher for the voter turnout, voter participation, regardless of where you are in the world. But it's always good to have sort of an extra goal itself. 50% is a decent one, anyways.
Yes, and we didn't have our poll data for 2022, but in 2018 I was on the other side, being on administration South Glengarry, and I was kind of like back up to the clerk's assistant. So if things fell through, I would have been there. But I did a recap of it numerically. There are some communities that still vote 68% and like 65%. So it just depends where you are. And like some of our communities do vote 28%. So it really depends on where you live. And I won't go to which communities because I don't want to pick on any. But there are some bastions of like high voter turnout in probably every community, and somewhere it's a little more apathetic towards them.
And that's what it is. It's apathy, or it's a question of if you're saying 60 some odd percent in some places, it's that's what they do. They've been doing it for years, and that's the way they participate. It has nothing. It's not a reflection on north, south, or whatever, or Glengarry per se. It's just what has been historically kind of gone through come down from generation to generation. And that's fine.
I've always thought, if you don't mind, if there was a citizen out there that would sell signs that say "I voted," or like "Please vote," because there's a lot of people who don't like having signs in their yard, but they like the thought of voting. So I've thought to get black signs before I was running for mayor, and have like vote and have the date on it, or "I voted," just to encourage people and remind people, because they'll see it. But I don't know if that would do anything. But
no, but you never know. I mean, there might be some folks who believe in the political process that might think that that's an interesting project, and then also something to say to participate in the in the process, in the political process, to say, well, if later on you do want to chime in, whether it's complain or say good job, then if you've actually sort of had you were there at the selection process.
Yeah,
we all say it gives you maybe a little bit more of a right to do so, right?
Well, I mean,
for lack of a better term, everybody's important, but we should all vote. But then again, it also sort of said, well, I did take the time and go, and it's not very hard, right? You go out and you make a choice. You inform yourself, make a choice, and then.
Yes, and we do have voter help centers too. So if you're uncomfortable with technology, I guess you'll see in May people start putting their names down, and then by August you'll have your whole list, and then it's next October. Yeah. So we are probably a year, 1 month, and say 15 days away from the next election. Is if you're uncomfortable with technology when it comes, you can always go to the township office. Yeah, and it's quite
the old school. The old school tools are still there, right?
Well, yeah, you can still go, and somebody can even guide you through the process. So it's if you're afraid of the technology or uncomfortable with it, please, when the election comes, talk to our clerk. She'll help you out. She's good at it too. Good.
Well, I've run through my list. Are there any other things on your cards that you wanted to discuss? that you feel that we might have missed? Or
If you don't mind, annual sidewalk closures, because
Okay.
we've changed something there, and I failed to mention it whenever you talked about the snow clearing.
okay,
So we did our sidewalk closures for the years. Typically, we close a portion of, sorry, oh goodness, where would we normally close? I have it written here just in case I forgot. So there's a St. Raffles, there's a sidewalk on the north side.
okay,
So we've closed that since 2020 during the winter, just because we can't maintain the winter maintenance standard.
okay.
Last year we did a little bit of North Lancaster. We hadn't heard anything, at least our administration hadn't. So if you did hear anything, we haven't finalized. I believe it's first and second reading. So contact our administration. This year, there's pieces in Glen Walter, Martintown, Williamstown, and Lancaster that will also be closed, and it just means we won't meet the minimum maintenance standards. So it's
So that's this. It's just basically saying that in the wintertime, they're not going to be maintained for that, but
yes.
okay,
Well, it does, yeah. So the sidewalks, it's not.
they're still there.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just-
not. It's soon to be a chopping block. There will be a sidewalk there in the summer. We'll still
Yeah.
maintain it to a level. It's just the winter maintenance will be either non-existent or less than the minimum maintenance standards.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's a change, but one that people can be aware of. And if looking into the camera, if you see this and you don't like it, yeah, L McDonald at southglengarry.com or 613-551-0091, and you can reach out to me directly.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, it's again, that's also part of the political process, reaching out to your elected members. Anything else that you wanna showcase from of what's coming up, or what things that you've heard might not be, it doesn't necessarily need to be council related, but
Rib Fest at the Nor'Westers Loyalist Museum this Saturday. I don't know if there's any tickets left. Deputy Mayor Lang is one of the competitors, so good luck to you,
Oh.
Deputy Mayor Lang, and also your competitors, but specifically you.
so this is a competition.
Yes, they have different ones, and you vote on them. So I look forward to seeing the results of that, because it's always in good fun.
Rib Fest this weekend. That's very good. So thank you very much. We went from episode 1 to a second, and this is great. And we thank you for your feedback online, and we encourage you to go to on the YouTube channel. Just like anybody else, we encourage you to subscribe to the channel. The more you subscribe, the more traction we have, and the more we can put what we do in Glengarry out there. That's important. We do have our own little cultural things, our little niches, and that's important. And we also want to get the folks from Glengarry to know what's actually going on, in Glengarry, such as the political process on the south side, on the north side, and and throughout Glengarry. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
we will see you for episode 3 once you're after the next meeting.
Yeah, late September. I'll be back.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.